Howdy, everybody. It's your pal Misty. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. It is time for our Thursday night live stream. As always, we're going to start out with a few updates and then, as inspiration, I should say, from my friend Cheryl and then Marcy, who, if you did not catch it, Cheryl did a live stream with Marcy this Tuesday over on Cheryl's channel. They both did a little home gym tour, and I know I talk about mine and y'all see it all the time, but you don't really get an up close and personal. So I thought we'd spend a little time doing that after my updates this evening. So thank you for being here, Cheryl, as always, moderating the chat and keeping everybody engaged while I'm trying to log on. All right, Mary's almost home. Hope that means the car passed inspection. Hello, Lori. Thanks for being here. Tell Tim I said hi if he's around as well. Hello, Mama. Thanks for joining the chat. Happy Thursday. So, yeah, welcome to your Thursday night live stream. This week feels kind of fast because I was on vacation through Monday. I was off last Wednesday through Monday, as some of you are aware, if you've caught my most recent video or were here last week for the live stream. And, oh, good, he's there. Hey, Tim. Excited to meet you, too. It's just a couple more weeks now. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later. Well, maybe not tonight, but just in general later. So one of the main reasons that I had taken the time off originally was, one, my niece was in a play. She was in The Wizard of Oz. I got to see videos of it. She was great. Shocker. But I had my ENT appointment, which for those of you who've been here, I've been waiting like 3 months for that appointment. So on Friday, I did go to the ENT. If you're already in the Fit Squad or Discord, you already know all of this, and that's most of the people who are online right now. But for everybody else or those watching the replay who don't know and want to know what all I found out. Hey, Marcy. I was just chatting about you a little bit earlier. I'm doing my home gym tour because you and Cheryl inspired me to show you what I got. Well, show everybody what I got. It's been a couple of years of getting it. But anyway, so I went to the ENT on Friday. I liked him a lot. I'm not always a doctor fan, but I have lucked out. I did when I scheduled the appointments. I looked at the reviews and everything, and he had very good reviews. So he asked me a lot of questions. I told him about the ringing in my ears, which they pronounce tinnitus. I've always called it tinnitus. So if I slip or just say ringing in the ears, that's what I'm talking about. So I talked to him about that. I talked to him about the hearing loss and that I wasn't sure if it was actual physical hearing loss or if it was my inability to pay attention or if it was, something else. So we did a hearing test while I was there. And he decided to do a scope of both my left and right nasal passages, I guess. He put some spray in there to numb it and then stuck a camera in and took a bunch of pictures. So while he was doing that, he was asking me, like levels of congestion and things like that. I'm addicted to Afrin, for those of you who didn't know, which is probably everybody who doesn't know me, but I am. I was addicted to 4-way like my daddy, and I did switch over to Afrin unless I was really sick. Then I would use it. I do have a bottle of 4-way. I ended up having to hide all of them bottles because it's just so tempting when I cannot breathe. It gives me anxiety. And I cannot breathe most of the time is what I'm finding out. So he was asking, he's like, so what would you say your current level of congestion is? And I was like, oh, today I actually feel really pretty good. I'd say maybe like a 1 or a 2, just a little bit of congestion. He's like, oh, no. He's like, okay, so you have adapted. He didn't laugh, but he did say something that made me laugh after that. He's like, well, you have adapted. He's like, you are very congested and you have some wicked old junk in here. Some wicked old infection, I think is what he said. I was like, oh, he's like, most people would rate this a 5 or a 6, and they would be coming in to get antibiotics for an infection. You did not come because you thought you were sick. I was like, nope, I just come because I feel like I'm kind of always congested and can't ever get rid of it. So turns out that is in fact exactly what is happening. And Mama, it made me remember that time. So I'm really trying to be conscious of it. But I'm glad that I don't see anybody except for people that I know most days. Because, Mom, do you remember that time when I was in high school and I went to the doctor and I had a nasal upper respiratory infection, which has been I've always had problems with my ears. I never had tubes in my ears or anything, but I had a lot of ear problems. I've had the Bell's palsy, which we talked about. Anyway, so it looks like the infection just doesn't clear. And so it gets old. And there was this time when I was in high school and I had gone to the doctor, and I want to say he gave me a shot in the butt. Normally I like a shot in the butt because it works real fast. But I got in the car with my mama. She probably already knows where I'm going with this story. But I got in the car with my mom and I said something to her, and the look of horror on her face when I got in the car and spoke. I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was something to the effect of, I said something and she said, "Did something die in your mouth?" So evidently I had been talking to everybody that day with my mouth smelling like literal crap. But it turns out it's that old infection. So this could be something that I've just always kind of dealt with, and it has kind of become my normal. He said this level of congestion and infection definitely wasn't normal. So we came up with some plans. Hello, Dream Ultra Crazy. Hello, welcome. I'm new to you. I do not recognize that channel name unless I know you from somewhere else. Hey, LB's here. You caught a live. Woohoo! Hopefully you got a good one. Dream Ultra Crazy says, "Hope you get through this infection. Praying for you and wishing you a wonderful weekend and recovery." Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So basically what he did was while he was in there, he took a specimen of the wicked old infection, which I didn't understand at first until my mom told me, and then I looked at it. But basically what he did was he tested it to see which antibiotics would actually like kill the infection, like for good. So it's a strong antibiotic. I've forgotten the name. Starts with a C. So I'm on that for 2 weeks. I just got that on Tuesday, which was when the culture came back. But I've been on steroids since last Friday. So today is my last mega dose of them. I've been doing a higher dose for 7 days. So instead of a normal 1 week round of steroids, he has me on a 2 week round of steroids. So starting tomorrow, I'll be able to start stepping that down. And for those of you who take steroids or who have ever had steroids, as you are aware, that is super fun. I'm up like 10 pounds. I feel every pound of it. I almost couldn't even get my rings on. I'm so bloated and dehydrated. I'm hot most of the time. I'm a little bit irritable. But I trust the process. We want to finally get this infection totally cleared out, and then the steroid should help that, and then the specific to this strain of whatever I have antibiotic should help. The antibiotic does come with some restrictions. I'm not supposed to be in the sunlight, which there's several medications, antibiotics that are really strong that say that. And then I'm supposed to, how did it say it exactly? Basically, I'm supposed to take it easy and not lift more than 15 pounds. And it was funny because he put that in the note and was like, "Call her and tell her." I read the note, but they did actually call me and tell me. So evidently they had it in my record that I exercise and lift weights, and they wanted me to be sure that I'm not lifting anything too heavy. So in part of my gym tour, I was going to do some, examples of things, but And I will still do some of that, but I will not be lifting heavy things today. Not that I do on a regular basis anyway, but not today. So outside of that, he wants me to get a CT scan of my actual, I guess, like nasal passages to see if there's something structurally that is, whenever I do get sick, keeps the infection there or keeps it from draining properly. And then he put me on 2 nose sprays, which I'll stay on long term. So the steroids I'll be done with next next, is it? I think it's only 6 days of the second week. I think it's only a 13-day. I'll have to recheck that. But either next Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be done with the steroids. And then the following Tuesday, I'll be done with the antibiotic. So last night and this morning was not fun. My stomach is not appreciating the antibiotic. And I think maybe now after today, actually, when I went for my walk with Amy this morning, she said, "You actually sound better." She's like, "I can still tell you're congested, but you actually do sound better." I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know that you could like tell I sounded congested on." And she's like, "Yeah." So I guess it really has become my normal. Anyway, so we're working on that to see if we can get this level of congestion down. But I think now the antibiotics are they're really strong antibiotics, which is kind of the point. I remember taking antibiotics similar to this before, and I was like, I feel like death. And they're like, well, if you don't take them, you could die. That was with my skin condition. I won't die in this situation, but same kind of prospect, right? Just take them, go through it, let it get everything out of your system and start over fresh and clean. So I've been using the saline rinse, which from the NeilMed brand that does the neti pot, but it's the actual sinus rinse, which is like a bottle. So I was doing it at night and not in the morning because that's what he told me to do. He said to use it like 30 minutes before I use the nose spray at night before I go to bed. And then I noticed in the mornings, I would wake up not as congested, but as the day went on, especially my left side, maybe that's the worst side too, because that is the side he took the sample from. But anyway, with all that, we just want to see how it goes. And so I started using the saline in the morning, and that has helped me remain clear longer through the day. So I do think it's working. Amy could tell a difference in just the way I sounded. I do still wake up congested. I go to sleep congested, but the saline rinse and the nasal sprays have been helping. So I have hope that, and I have not had any Afrin or 4-way or nothing. I even hid the car Afrin, the emergency car Afrin, because because when I went to HEB the other day to pick up all these meds and some refills on my other ones, I couldn't breathe. It was about 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock or something, I think. And I couldn't breathe. And when I got in the car, the first thing I did was reach for that bottle of Afrin so that I could use it and be able to breathe. So we've gone almost 1 week. Well, I guess technically today's day 7 of no Afrin. I can't say that's the longest I've ever gone without it, but in the last months of time, it's the longest I've gone without using it. It had become 3-4 times a week, sometimes like if it was raining and things, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And I know that's not good. They say, you get addicted to it and then you need it more and then you really can't breathe. And maybe that's part of what's also keeping me congested. So I'm doing all the things, even if they're hard, even if I can't breathe as well as I want. I just take time. I take deep breaths. I focus on breathing in and out so that I don't have panic attacks, because that's normally what happens when I can't breathe. And I think it stems from when I was heavier, I just couldn't breathe. I was diagnosed with asthma in my early 20s and had chronic bronchitis. And when you go back and listen to even the older videos on this channel, but certainly on my family channel, when you go back and listen to those videos, I feel like all I can hear is me breathing because it was such a struggle. And I remember thinking I was this loud and boisterous personality. And then I go watch those videos and it's a whisper. Like I didn't even have enough air to be a loud and boisterous personality. Well, maybe the personality wise, but not the physicality wise. So it's interesting. I'm excited to see. I hope it'll help with workouts, even, better airflow, get your body recovered faster. So we're going to keep up it. I'm going to call you Dream since I don't know your name, if that's okay. If you'd like to share your name, feel free. But Dream says sinus allergies and infections are bad this time of year. You've also been dealing with a tough cold for the past couple of days. You hate how it's so hard to breathe. Peace be with everyone always. Yeah, it is allergy season for real. When I tell you the oak trees, for those, I don't know if everybody has oak trees where they are, but here in Houston especially, there are oak trees everywhere, and they have those, I don't know what they are, flowers of pollen. And the ground is littered with them, like as many of them as there were acorns in that season. Like it is just everywhere. Everything outside is yellow. I think I told Amy last week, I was like, it looks like you grouted your whole back patio with like a yellow grout. That's gross. But it's bad. You try not to touch anything when you're outside, because then heaven forbid if you touch your face, it's just, anyway, it's not a good time of year for it to begin with. But I really think this last round started, I don't even remember. I want to say it was like October or November when I got really sick and ended up with bronchitis and had to go on meds then. I don't think it ever fully cleared out. I think and there had been times in my past where I would have to do 2 rounds of steroids and antibiotics before I would feel better. So I'm thinking it is probably something structural, or, and will that mean surgery or just a little procedure? I don't know. I'll keep y'all posted as I go. I'm going to schedule the CT scan here as soon as I can, or for as soon as I can, I should say. It'll be more updates after that. So those are my updates. LB says she hears me on hearing yourself breathe. It's crazy. Yeah, it's so strange when I go back and watch those videos, or they'll pop up, on my own recommended when I'm watching a video, and I just don't even recognize that voice. I feel like in my head I sounded like this, but out loud I just did not. And I guess I always thought part of the reason that I couldn't breathe really well was just because of my size, but come to find out, maybe this has been a chronic, it has been a chronic thing. I've just never taken care of it, because when you're not, I was not in any way actively trying to prevent my own death. We've talked about this before, and there's just not a fun way to say that. I wasn't trying to kill myself. I was also not trying to save myself. I was doing nothing. Now I'm feeling good. I want to feel better. I want to see how good I can feel. I want to live my happiest, healthiest version of this life, right? And that's going to entail going to the doctor. So I'm thinking some of it's draining into my stomach, making me a little sick on top of the antibiotics. I took Pepto today. I made some rice. I had some rice for lunch with some ground meat. I probably have, I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner. I'm going to eat Pepto. I'm going to take some Pepto and then eat dinner so that hopefully it doesn't upset my stomach, because lunch did upset my stomach a little bit. But again, I know that's part of the process. I know these are strong antibiotics to be on, but I know the reason why. I think it's worth it for me. And they take it easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl, and don't lift anything over 15 pounds. I asked when the nurse called, she's like, and there's a note to not lift anything over 15 pounds. I was like, per hand or total? And she's like, I'm sorry. I was like, I can't lift more than 15 pounds total, or like, I can't lift more than 15 pounds in each hand. She's like, well, just avoid strenuous activity. That's what it was. Just avoid strenuous activity. I was like, okay. So I have a few things that are like 20, 25 pounds. I'm going to be lifting those to show y'all tonight, but I'm not going to be working out with them. So I feel very safe. And evidently the reason, if anybody's curious, is because it has a side effect of tendon rupture. And so you don't want to lift anything really heavy and possibly rupture a tendon. I don't lift anything that heavy anyway. So, oh, hey, Sarai's here. No, Sarai, we were actually just about to start the tour. LB said she was just outside and the pollen was flowing from the sky. It looks like a yellow cloud. It's crazy. Like I know it's one of those things like people are like, oh, the pollen's bad. Come to Texas. Oh, the winter's bad. Come feel the cold in Texas. Come feel the heat in Texas. It's like y'all we say that, it's sweater weather at 50 degrees, but that's because our 50 degrees is like y'all's 30 degrees. It's just the cold is colder, the hot is hotter, the pollen is the most. Like, it's just the trees are trying to kill me. I love them so much, and the tree pollen's just trying to take me out. That's all there is to it. I've accepted it. I'm okay with it. Let's get on with the gym tour. So I thought I'd actually start out with the first piece of gym equipment that I know that I got. And then kind of go from there, show you different things, give you things that I use them for. And if there's anything as I'm going through it that you have a question about, feel free to put it in the chat and I will answer those as I go. But just to give you a little background for those of you who are new to me, I started my fitness journey in 2021, actually April the 1st. I went out and walked a lap around the park where I lived at the time. It was about a third of a mile. And I slowly built up to a mile so that I could do a 5K walk at the end of that month. And then I started an abs challenge with the Better Late Than Never crew. Got into that with Val over at Home Workout Health Hub, who does not do YouTube anymore, but she still has some great videos and tips on Instagram as well. And then Sharon over at Fun Fitness with Sharon. People were doing things with her. And then we decided to do a challenge with Smithy over at, or Gavin over at Smithy's Fitness. And he just got me so into it and made me feel so good about myself and made it feel easy and possible for me. And so I did his 21-day beginner boot camp, and then I started it again, and then started a challenge with Kirsten, and just kind of fell in love with the way she teaches, the way she modifies things, the way she explains things in a way that I can understand. My brain is fun, but sometimes it takes a minute for it to know what's happening. So at the time, I was going to the gym actually at the time, but not for anything like strength related. It was just for like cardio stuff, like a place to go if I couldn't walk outside, if it was raining or something, was really the main reason that I had it. So I started doing the home workouts. And so the first thing that I bought and probably still the number one thing that I would suggest for anyone to get is a basic hand weight. So these were from Amazon. So here's my number one tip on fitness equipment. You don't need everything that I have. I like everything that I have, and I like to use everything that I have, and I like to be able to change it up. And also look on Amazon Warehouse or wherever you like to get your fitness equipment from. Look for like their returns and things like this, because this was the first thing that I got, and I got it like 40% off because the box was damaged. It's a handheld weight. What do I care about the box? First thing I'm doing is taking that out of the box and throwing it away. Is the weight okay? Like I have gotten almost every set of dumbbells that I have back here from the Amazon warehouse because I can get them at like 30, 40% off in good condition. You just read, if you're on the app, just search warehouse and then whatever you're looking for. If you're on a computer, just scroll all the way to the bottom, or there's normally a filter up at the top when you're searching Amazon that you can search the warehouse. So my tip, get a deal. You can pay full price if you want, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to do home gym on a budget the best as I can. Is it all over my car? Yes. Poor Fred is yellow. He's no longer silver. He's just yellow. And you wash it and they're just yellow again tomorrow. I mean, I have covered parking. It's not for pollen. It does nothing for pollen. It does nothing for pollen and it does nothing for pine needles. I guess it just prevents hail. We don't get that very much here, but anyway, it makes me feel better to have the car covered from really the sun damage. Anyway, so the first thing that I bought were these. Does it have, 2.75 pounds, balance one. And it's a wide weight with a hand strap so that I wasn't too worried about dropping it. And when I first started doing things with weights, this was the weight that I started with, a little under 3 pounds. And I'm going to be honest, on some of the exercises, on some of the days, them got heavy. So one of the second things I bought myself were these little 2-pound dumbbells from Five Below. It's just like a little neoprene dumbbell. They fit perfect in your hands. And until I got something else, which I can show you, this is what I will often, or what I did often use for kickboxing, because I can hold it in my hand. I can do I can do whatever. And it's light and you're using your arms anyway. The little extra weight makes it a little bit more challenging for me. But when I started, I was doing like bicep curls and overhead presses with my little Five Below weights. So from there, we just increased the weights sort of as we went on the gym. So I have 5-pound weights. I really kind of wanted to show y'all these just because these are the only weights that I have that don't match. And it's because at one point I thought I was going to get into fitness and I got a 5-pound dumbbell and it was too heavy and I couldn't do anything with it. But then I got into it and realized I had that 5-pound dumbbell, and again, I'm cheap, but I could not find one that matched. So we have two different, I don't even know what brand this other one is. I think I got it from Target. But it's just a little 5-pound hex dumbbell. You can get whatever type of dumbbell you like. You can have the neoprene, like the little 2-pound one. You can have these, which are the ones that I like. Even if you see, if I go up, into my heavier weights, it's the same structure, right? I like the hex because they don't roll. And I know where my weights are going to be when I put them down. They're going to stay there because they're not going to roll away from them. I've seen Coach too many times in a workout and her weight just be rolling. I can't. I'm not trying to do a workout and chase after my own dumbbells. So I have 8-pound dumbbells, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, 15 pounds. So those are all of the dumbbells that I have. So essentially I have from 2 pounds to 15 pounds. And that's what I use for my hour-long workouts with Coach. A lot of my own workouts that I do, I use those a lot and just built up to those. So that's what's in that middle part of my home gym there is I'm tempted to see if I can kind of move y'all around. Can y'all see and hear okay if I bring everything up like that? Is that working? Because I don't really have a way to move y'all around the whole gym. Oh, hey, Kenneth is here. Hey, Kenneth, thanks for joining. Thank you, Jess. Hit the like button. Okay, so far so good. Yes, it's good. Okay, great. So those are seeing here perfect. Wonderful. And again, if you have any questions on anything as I go about it, feel free. So something that's very important to the gym that probably nobody notices except for me and my mama is Joyce. Y'all know Joyce? Anybody remember Joyce? So for those of you who may be new here, I get a baby doll every Christmas because my mama's a baby girl. And so when I first started my fitness, my mom got me a baby doll. She sits right here. I know she's kind of hard for y'all to see, so I'm gonna go with the bar, Joyce. I'm gonna bring her up for y'all to see. It's Joyce. This is Joyce. She's my personal fitness instructor and my motivator and coach when I'm by myself. And she just sits in the back and watches y'all. I actually named her. So the name Joyce came from my dance instructor. So I was in dance from the time I was 3 to 13. And Miss Joyce was my dance instructor. And I thought she looked very much like Miss Joyce. She's very articulated. She can do planks like we're doing this right now. See, this is perfect plank form. Stiff like a board. So Joyce is always here for inspiration, motivation as needed. So, wave at Joyce as you're coming in. Oh, you thought it was the Cabbage Patch doll? No, but it's pretty cute too, huh? Or Ivan up there in the corner. That's Ivan. He's a Navi, and that's Ivan is. Oops, Navi backwards. Hello. Thanks for joining. Thanks for lurking. You can lurk here. You can look at my Discord, wherever you'd like. We're just getting the home gym tour started. So dumbbells is the number one thing I would say to start with. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be Five Below. It can be water bottles. It can be cans of food. It can be whatever you have, right? But there is so many different things that you can do with a set of dumbbells. So after that, probably one of my next favorite tools that I like to use is the kettlebells. So I'm going to grab the lighter one since I'm supposed to be avoiding a strenuous activity. But this is a 15-pound, just like a cap, I think is the brand. Can't even really see, but it tells you the weight on the front. This is just another cast iron kettlebell. So I have 2 of those. And then Kirsten, actually, for my birthday last year, I think, maybe the year before. No, last year. She got me 2 25-pound kettlebells. So those are the blue ones that you see in the back. I use those for all different types of things. And I'm learning to do so much more with the kettlebell. The most recent thing we learned was Turkish get up. And then the Turkish get down because I got up and then didn't know how to get back down from the Turkish get up. But while we were talking about the kettlebell, I wanted to show you just something else because, again, I'm just sharing because these are things that I've used. These are things that I've tried. These are things that work for me. They may not work for you, but it might not, maybe it's something you hadn't thought of. But I don't mind the calluses. I really don't. But I did find when we were doing our kettlebell challenge, I was using the 25-pound kettlebell and it was heavy and my legs and my arms had the strength to do it, but I didn't have the grip strength. So I wear, when I do things with my kettlebell, I wear a fingerless glove. Let me see if I can take that ring off. I'm so bloated. But they basically just pull down so it fits over just your palm and the front of your fingers. I get really hot, I get really sweaty, and I kept losing my grip. And so I don't have enough calluses built up to sort of help maintain that. So when I'm doing the swings, I have 2 right now, I wear them in both hands. So if you're having problems when you're first going up, or using weights and you're finding that your hands are really sore, you can definitely use a pair of gloves like these. And then I showed them the other week. I'm going to show you another style. So I've had two other style of gloves, and I'll explain why I got them, why I changed, and how I ended up with just the fingerless gloves. They call them bare hand. Oh, I see. Sarai says, what are they called? They call them bare hand gloves, and I think like the brand Bare Hand, maybe like the brand of it, but it's like a fingerless workout glove. But I love it because it just hits the part of my hand that I need. So I started out with a full glove because the first challenge that Kirsten was doing was a lean arms challenge. And so, you know, I was brand new. So I was fully trying to do push-ups and mountain climbers on the floor like she was, not knowing that I was not ready for that. And my wrists hurt so bad I had to stop the challenge. But one of the tips that she gave me was I could get a glove with a wrist strap. And so this was the first style that I had, where it just has the wrist strap that undoes. But it's a full glove. So it covers my whole hand, and then you can wrap the wrist strap around. Whoops. All right, so you can see this one is like a full glove, right? And I loved the wrist support because it really did help until I had the wrist strength, even though I did stop doing push-ups on the ground and started doing them against a wall. But even then, my wrist was still hurting. So this was the first style of glove that I got. And it was great. And, you know, maybe if you're in a cooler climate or if you don't sweat as much as I do, these would be a perfect pair of gloves for you. However, I could not. My hands would be so sweaty, and talk about just uncomfortable. I couldn't do it. I didn't like it, hated it. So Kirsten at the time had done a video on her channel about a different style. These are the Pro Fitness, which is the Amazon brand. And I showed these before the other night. It's the same concept, right? Where it has the wrist strap, but instead of being a full glove, it's only the bottom and your whole back of your hand is open. And just the difference in temperature from just opening the back of my hand was like night and day. It was so much different, but I still got that wrist support that I needed. So those are the gloves that I've gone to. And now I don't use any of those because my wrists are strong enough to hold my own body weight, and I've lost half my body weight, which also helps when it comes to fitness. Just to be honest. So those are the different gloves that I've had, sort of progression of those. These have all been great. I have used the crap out of all of them. And as I've been switching, I mean, I've used each one of these dozens and dozens of times, and they're still in. This one's called Fitness Gear. Slim Dry. I don't have any affiliation. I don't have any links for you, but 99% of this stuff came from Amazon. Sarai says she has one with the wrist strap, but she thinks she likes a bare hand. I love the bare hand gloves, Sarai. Hey, Gina's here. Plugged in your charger, but you made it. You're thinking, what's that with the brass knuckles? No, not brass knuckles. Not brass knuckles. You love how buff I'm getting. Me too, LB. I'm getting strong. I'm trying. Consistency. Let's see. One of my next pieces, I really want to pick all this up and show you this, but I'm not supposed to, and I'm trying to be a good girl and follow the doctor's orders. So if y'all want to see some examples of some of this stuff later, absolutely let me know. I'm happy to share. But this is my slam ball. This is different than a medicine ball. So there are medicine balls and there are slam balls. This is a 20-pound slam ball. The main difference is, I don't know if I can even, maybe. Yeah, you can see. This squishes. Like it reminds me of those big rubber balls we used to kick around, like at kickball. but it is literally filled with like sand. So you can feel the shift in the weight as you move it. You can even hear the sand or whatever exactly is in here. So when you pick it up and you're doing a slam, there's actually a moment in time, which is my favorite, where you pick it up over your head and all that sand goes to the top. And then you use it as it comes down for momentum to swing. But unlike a medicine ball, which sometimes will bounce and you can catch it and do it again, the slam ball just slams. I'm going to do it from the chair. It has almost no bounce. It just goes straight down. So there are so many different exercises you can do with a slam ball, sort of like a kettlebell. You can even just use it for overhead presses or things. Maybe don't. I'm just going to lift it a little bit. I'm not doing a strenuous activity. I was just lifting that to show y'all. But if you want to get some aggression out, this baby right here, it is a full body workout. It works everything. It works your core because you have to be strong to stabilize it. Now, maybe don't start at 20 pounds. I would suggest, maybe an 8 or 10 pound slam ball. I just prefer them to the medicine balls just because it is harder, because the weight is not stable. It changes as you move it. So that makes it even harder. When you're doing it from side to side and it's like it wants to keep taking you with it, you have to be able to engage that. So that's my slam ball. I love my slam ball. The good old ab roller. Woo-hoo. I didn't even know they still made these until I bought one. That's the brand of this one. I don't know how to say it. Again, Amazon special. This is also on a discount. Hey, Becky's here. Thanks for stopping by, Becky. I'm just doing a quick gym tour. A medicine ball. I hope I'm on the first floor. I am on the first floor. And it's a slam ball. So you definitely would not want to do it nowhere, because when I tell you it slams, it's heavy. You're throwing a 20-pound ball on the floor. I'm definitely downstairs. Yeah, I like my orange ball. I like my blue kettlebells. I like the stuff that is the colors that I like. Anyway, so I have an ab roller. I tried it. It's real hard. I'm still working on it. I find that I lack the shoulder strength and mobility to do it more so than the abs to do it at this point. I think my abs could do better than my shoulders allow me to. Yeah, the ab roller. It may be your least favorite piece of equipment, but it's a good one. These were another gift for my birthday this year, actually. These are called bala bangles. Oh, tags on the outside. Bala bangles. So this is a weighted, you can use it as an ankle weight or an arm weight, wrist weight, whatever. So now instead of using, these are 2 pounds. So now instead of using my, put it on backwards because I was not paying attention. Instead of using those 2 pound dumbbells that I showed you that I started with and would use those during kickboxing, now I wear these during kickboxing. So I don't have to hold them. I have free form in my hands and I can still do the activity. Sometimes I'll wear these on walks or things like that just for added resistance. Now, when you're new, do you need added resistance? No, of course you don't. You're new. You don't need added resistance. Any resistance is more than you've had, right? But as you get into it, one thing that I like to try to do is how can I amp up? Oh, let's see. Oh, Kenneth, you've used one and never tried it again? It's real hard. It's real hard, Becky. Oh, She said ab roller makes you think of the Thigh Master. I think we might have had a Thigh Master when I was growing up. I did love some Suzanne Summers. You had those Shark Tank. These are from Shark Tank? Is that what they're from? I don't know. They were a gift from Coach because she had gotten some for several of the girls back in the day. And I was telling her about, I would grab those little 2-pound dumbbells so hard for the whole hour that, like, at some point I couldn't even release my hands. Like, I lost all feeling in my finger. Coach is looking out for me as I do that stuff. But in addition to that, right, when I'm talking about ways that I try to add a little bit to what I'm already doing, right? So I started out with the 2-pound dumbbells. Now I use the 2-pound bracelets. But I do also have, and these are just from Amazon Basics. I do have the weighted ankle is what I use it for. So it has Velcro. Comes on and off. You can size it to different sizes. And then I know this is kind of hard to see, but it's adjustable. So this is 5 pounds, but it has 5 1-pound sandbag weights in it, right? So you can pull it out, and now it's 4 pounds. So I like the fact that it's adjustable because when I started, I did not start with the 5 pounds in these weights. I started with 2 pounds. And again, that was a lot. So I know people are like, oh, you're talking about your 20-pound this and your 15-pound that. Yeah, but because I started with the 2 and I didn't stop. And when it got too easy, I went up. That's the only reason I'm there. 100%. Just consistency in doing it. If you do it, a lot of women are notorious for they don't want to bulk up. Baby, unless you're taking steroids, you're not bulking up. Don't you worry about that, boo. You're fine. and so they don't go up on weights. It helps. It helps with your bone strength. It helps with so many things to increase your resistance. If you finish a 1-hour workout and you're like, that was great. That was so much fun. That was easy. Girl, come back with heavier weights next week. So I try to always find things. What can I do to add a little bit, right? So I can add ankle weights. Or what I've been doing recently is I have a weighted vest. So I wear this when I walk. It's very nice. We'll just get down a little bit so y'all can see. It's very nice. I like that it's very adjustable and it's good for multiple sizes of people, right? So it has these 2 long straps that would come out. You strap it around your body in front and back. And then you have, y'all like that little move? Like that. And so then you have a weighted vest. But the same thing with the legs that I just showed you is within here, it's adjustable. So I have a 2-pound sandbag. So right now, as an example, this is only carrying 8 pounds. I have 6 pounds in the back. 1, 2, 3. So 6 pounds, 2 each. And then 1 here and 1 here so that it's kind of distributed. And I wear this when I walk with Amy. And my average heart rate probably goes up about 10 points just by adding the extra weight. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to tilt y'all up just a little bit so that I can stand back here and show y'all some of this other stuff. You're trying to figure out what the black thing is. You think it's trampoline. I did not bring my trampoline in here because it does take a lot of time. I can grab it at the end if y'all'd like, but maybe that's that thing you're talking about over there. So, yeah. So anyway, you can add resistance. So I wear... It's been kind of popular again. I've seen it a lot online and things, rucking, which is basically carrying weight on your back. But it's really something, if you're already walking, add a couple pounds. It instantly makes something you're already doing a little bit more challenging with very little effort on your part other than what your body puts into it. And that's what you're trying to get the work into, is your body. So anyway, I also have, and I did kind of want to show them, these adjustable dumbbells. So these are also from Amazon, from Cap. These are probably the cheapest adjustable dumbbells you can buy, and that's why I bought them. People have all these fancy select the grade, you know, all that kind of stuff. I ain't trying to do that. It just has a little cap that comes off, and then you can slide the weights on and off. These go up to 50 pounds. So I like to use them for heavy carries, where I will literally just have one in each. This only has like 20 pounds on it right now. I'm not lifting heavy. But just carry it and walk around. It's a great ab workout. And switch sides and carry it on the other side. Or you can carry both at the same time. So if you're looking for something in dumbbells, and you know you're going to need some lighter weight, some heavier weight, those adjustable dumbbells are really, I think, a good investment. Again, I got them almost half off on Amazon. So with my shoulders being one of my weak points, one of the things that I had read about was hanging and dips and things like that. So my best friend Amy bought me dip bars. So I'm not going to set it all the way up, but it does actually have a bar that you put underneath them, or like to connect them together, right? So I started out by actually like laying underneath it. You know what? I think I can show you all that. I know we're running a little bit late. I only have a few more things I want to show you. So I started by hanging. I used to have it up higher. So now it's a little bit harder because I'm pretty much even. But I would just hang and let my arms really go down. Again, it was higher, so down I touched the ground. But then you can work on your pull-up too from this position as you progress and things like that. You can also put it down, and you can use it as a progression for your push-ups. So if you wanted to, you could just practice, and it gives you a deeper squeeze. I don't know. It lets you go deeper on that push-up if you're doing it here. Or traditionally what it's made for, which I cannot do yet, really, is dips, where you are supposed to be able to dip your body. I cannot do that. But I can do this. I can now stand, and I can bring my knees up. Oh, working on putting them legs out. That's still real hard. So these are my dip bars, and that's kind of what I've been using those for as we go. And then the other thing is a pull-up bar. So it's kind of hard to show, but like when I hook it up, it hooks into the door like this. So it's above my head here. So I use this again to hang. I cannot pull myself up. I can barely hang. When I started, I could not hang even for a second. Now I can hang for about 25 to 30 seconds on a good day. But it has really helped my shoulder mobility. It's really helped strengthen my shoulders and make me feel more confident in other moves. Plus, it just kind of feels good to hang without all your weight off the ground. So like I'll let my toes touch or something so I can take some of the pressure off, but it feels really good to elongate the back. Again, you can use this for different things too. You could also use it like as a modified push-up, pull-up bar, or push-up bar from the ground. And then something else you can't see on my door will go with what we talk about in a minute, but the big black thing over there in the corner, I have so many black things, I don't know which black thing y'all were talking about, is my workout ball. I sit on this thing constantly. It's great. It's really nice. I like to bounce. The more I move, the better I feel. I'm finding more and more that staying stationary is hard on my brain and on my body. So I use this all the time. Coach actually gave a lot of different stability exercises for my posture that I do on these now. But I will be honest, I had to use what I'm going to show you next to actually start doing them and get stronger as we go. So that's my ball. I'm known for this at work because I'll bounce in meetings. Because you want me to be here on camera for 2 hours and be still? You're crazy. I'm not doing that. So I bounce. It's okay. My VP loves it. He thinks it's amazing that I bounce. He thinks it's great. But another thing that I do use for all kinds of things is my bench. My bench is one of my greatest modifiers because when it's up against the wall, I can do push-ups against it. I can do mountain climbers against it. I can do a modified burpee against it, a modified plank against it. It is adjustable. So like I'll have it higher to do things like overhead press. So I just sit so that I can focus on my upper body and not have to worry so much about my core. But a good thing, which has also helped my shoulders and is part of my physical therapy, I learned it's easier if I do it on my bench. I'm going to show y'all just really quickly, but because it's actually really great. If you have problems with your shoulders, you can also do this just straight from the floor, but I like doing it on the bench. So all I do is I lean forward onto the bench, and it's like a swim, right? So you want to bring your arms up. Part of the reason I do it here is I can't do this from the floor yet. I don't really have the mobility to get my arms up that high, but up, oh, and then back. And then you just do that, trying to keep those arms up as high as you can. And then I also lay down and I do lateral, like just out to the side and out to the front, as high as I can get my arms. So this bench has been great. I use it a lot for modifications of exercises that I can't do on the ground yet. This is another Amazon special, like 40% off from the... Most of them are like box damaged in shipping, which I don't care. If you want to put a little crack, I figure I'm probably going to do that anyway. Oh, you know what? Let me put this back down. Y'all know I got to clean up a little bit as I go. Here's my Fit Squad paraphernalia, because Fit Squad represent always. But it hangs on top of my barbell. That's what this black thing is in the corner, because again, not real sure which one y'all are talking about. But it has just little clasps. Put the weight on, put the clasp on. You have a barbell. But the reason that I chose this style of barbell, it's small. It's just a little 1 inch. But I like it. because it's also compatible with my adjustable dumbbells. So I can put those steel plates on here and get it heavier than I can with just the weights that it came with. But also because of the handles, you can actually just use them as weights. I did a video with Coach actually where I did just that. But I really did that in a lot of my own workouts. When I started squatting, I just started squatting holding this, 2.5 pounds? 1.25 pound. I just started squatting by holding this in front, right? So I like, again, the versatility of it. It was more than just a barbell. I could also use the weight plates as like a modified dumbbell, kettlebell sort of interim, right? You can swing with it just like you could a kettlebell. You could do overhead presses just like you could with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. So I like that functionality of it. Oops. I'm turning on my fan. Is anybody else sweating like we're doing a workout? Woo! I have my jumpless jump ropes because I have bad arthritis in my knees. So I do everything low impact. So when I jump, this is how I jump, like this. My toes don't actually leave the ground. They just jump like this. But I use the ropes to sort of time it out and get that movement. And it's more for your arms to do, to get that rope around. Again, can you do a rope in place with no rope? Absolutely. I like doing it with the rope because it makes me feel good. I do actually have jump ropes. Come on, rope. So I have just your regular thinner cable rope. And then I have this thicker 1/2 pound weighted rope. I really wanted to jump rope. I really did try it. It really did hurt my knees a lot. So I'm not saying never, but not right now. So those are going to stay put away. I'm just going to reorganize this all after I'm done. And then after that, I have a collection of different bands. So this is the one. This one band here gets more use than probably anything else. I use it for warming up. I use it for stretching. I use it for all kinds of things. But it's kind of funny that these are the bands that I have because Coach recently, Kirsten over at Quick Fit Home Workouts, did sort of a collab with Bob and Brad, which I have been a fan of their channel forever. And the bands that I already had were the Bob and Brad bands. And so it's kind of fun. Coach and I like to be twins on purpose a lot of the time, but not always. Oh, let's see. Oh, I need to go back in the chat. Oh, the Ballos were on Shark Tank. They work really well, Gina. I have to say, it's a great product. Gina said she used to think that way. Former cardio queen here. Your first time with a trainer, you couldn't move your arms the next day. Oh, dip bars. Yeah, those are dip bars. That's what those are in the back. You love indoor jump ropes? I like it. You use your ropeless jump rope a lot, Mary? Yeah. Me too. I like it. So I have 2 different styles actually 3 different styles of bands. These are Fit Simply. Again, this is just an Amazon brand that I found. I call these booty bands because I don't know, that's what I call them. But they're just these bands in different strengths, right? Like super light to you can barely pull it apart. Extra heavy. So you can actually put them like around your knees, upper or lower, wherever you're working. Try doing some squat walks with banded squat walks. Man, game changer. so freaking hard. Why is that so freaking hard to do? Anyway, so I don't use these very often. I more use them as sort of a physical therapy thing for my knee and doing the banded squat walks and things like that. So I do have them. They're probably one of the lesser used items. I mean, I maybe use them. Sometimes I'll go weeks without even doing it, but I do try to do those banded squat walks at least once a week. But more often than not, I actually use the bands. So the first bands that I got, they're still Bob and Brad, but because I have two different styles, it's a flat band. So it's like a rectangular piece of material that stretches. And then, man, their handles, it's just such good quality. They have these huge carabiners on there. And then they have these handles that as you use them, they're just able, I know it's all black on black, guys, but like it just rolls very nicely in there. It is so sturdy. And I like these bands, but to be honest, most of the time I don't use the handles for them because I'm doing things like with that little yellow band where I'm more taking them and just like doing an opening stretch or an over the head stretch or something like that. If I'm going to be doing something like a squat walk, I can do them with this. Right? So you can just get into your, but I find it a little bit harder because you have the two different things, right? So you're trying to get your feet in the right spot. Of course, then you do your squat walk. This is what I do now. But it makes it hard when you're trying to stand on two different bands like at the same time, unless you just jam your foot into it and then be like, don't move. So yeah, I ended up also buying the tube style band. You know what? I actually have one out. This is probably the band next to the yellow one that for all the work, but for actual workouts, it's a 30-pound, I think, is what I'm up to now. Yeah, I used the 20 for a long time, but now I'm up to the 30-pound band. So it's the same concept. I don't know why these are red and the other ones are black, but it's the little Bob and Brad. You can see the logo there. But this is the tube style. So it's like a medical tube is what it reminds me of. So it just makes it a lot easier if I'm doing something like on the ground. If I want to put my feet on it, I can just step. And then I'm good. Like I'm not trying to get my feet on two at the same time, right? We're trying to make it all even, but then you have these two different wonky sides and one of them can snap up. So it really depends on what you're using them for as to which style may best suit you. I didn't give these up because I do still like to use them for different things. So I have both. You can't see it, but on my door, I actually have I don't really even know how to explain it. It's basically just a long, I don't know. It's like Mary, how would you describe this thing? It's basically, it loops around my door so that I can tighten it down. And then it's a strap, I think of a strap as like you would strap down a truck, like a toe strap is what I'm thinking of. It's like a toe strap. It's kind of what it reminds me of, right? It's just like a 1-inch strap. But on that strap are loops. So that's what I really like these for, is because I can just send it through there. And then I can just, I'd like to do lateral overheads. So like it comes from the top and then I can just pull this one band. So I don't use the handles with this very often because it is very easy. or if I'm just wanting something a little bit lighter weight. But I do really like having that on my door. Maybe I'll be able to show y'all that in another video or something. But it's basically just a place where these can connect to above my head, below my head, in the middle. And they come with, just to kind of show these off too, if anyone's interested. They were on sale recently, so I don't know how much they'll go on sale again. But they also sell the door stopper. So like you put this behind your door. So this would be the part you put your band through. And so your door basically holds it so you can pull and do whatever. So you can put it at whatever level you want. I used these a lot in the beginning, but ever since I got that door strap, I never pull that thing out ever. It never gets used anymore. A door strap is great. They also have different like wall anchors and stuff, which if I had a home gym, I'd probably do. But I mean, like a home, like an outside home gym, then I'd probably do something like that. But for now, the door mount that's temporary and I can take down if I do move is good enough for me. So let's see. I have one more thing, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. So my newest toy is also a gift from Coach because for doing so many Fit Squad workouts for her. It's fun. I love you, Coach. Thank you for all of my presents. She did a step aerobics workout, and I was like, that was so much fun. But now I do not need a bigger step. I do not need a bigger step. I have a step, and it is fine. I'm putting it on my wish list though, and so I sure did. I put it on my wish list, but she sent me one that's just like hers. So again, we be twinning. So I just want to kind of show you all the difference. Because again, nothing wrong with this step at all. This is another good Five Below purchase. This was my original step. So that if I needed to step up, it was a little step. And so now, I'm going to bring this step to you too, Mary. Now Mary's going to have that step. Now I have my new step, which is a much bigger step. But the thing that I really have liked about it is, of all things randomly, I've only had it for like a little over a week, but chest presses. Because I like it on my bench to do chest presses. Again, just because you can get more flex in there. So when you're down here, instead of normally just stopping at the floor, you can go down and really get a good stretch to really get that push when you're doing that. But the other thing that's great about it, it is a mid-level between my bench and the floor. So I've been doing my push-ups, all that kind of stuff on this bench or on this step. And it's worked out great because I could either use my bench or I could use the floor. Sometimes the bench was too easy. The floor was too hard. So I'd go with the easier and try to push. But now I have like an interim. And it does get even bigger than this. Not for me right now, but it can potentially get even higher. So yeah. I know that took a while. I appreciate everyone who stayed or those of you who came to watch the replay. I had a feeling that might take a little bit more than an hour just because I do have a lot of stuff. Again, do you need stuff? Now, and I have my trampoline. So if you have not yet seen that, I have a 48-inch Hex B-Can rebounder. It's awesome. This year, my average steps have gone from about 7,500 to about 12,000. And I 100% give that to the Jumpaline, or the mini. I call it a Jumpaline. You know, if you're new here, you might not know, but I call it a Jumpaline. So I love it. It's so easy on my knees. Oh, y'all want to see? These are my knee sleeves. They stay right here. I have knee sleeves, and then I actually have like knee braces that I wear The orange is for the right, the pink is for the left, because I need to know the difference, just for my own mental sanity, and pink and orange look good together. So these are Dr. Brace, and they help when I'm lifting things. I do that. If we're just doing cardio, I use these sleeves, which are from a brand called Modvello. Or Modvel. So again, I have bone on bone arthritis. I have no cushion in my right knee at all. I haven't checked on my left knee, but I'm sure it's not great. So I wear these to help as I go and build up stability in my knee, just like I used them when I was building up stability in my wrist. I use those different wrist straps. So I love it. It's absolutely changed my life. I don't even want to think about the fact that I might not be here if it wasn't for everything that I've done to change over the last 4 years. So I am here. I'm happy about it. Again, could God take me tomorrow? He could. And I got real happy knowing that I'm now living my happiest, healthiest version of this life that I can. I deserve it. So do you. This is my little home gym. This is what has helped me lose half my body weight from the comfort of my own home. Not that I'm scared to go to the gym. I think gym people are really some of the most positive people that you can meet. But I'm kind of an introvert, and I like doing things at home. It's really easy because then I work out here and then I just start work. It's in the same room. It's the bigger room. If you ever come to visit me, you will notice that my bedroom is much smaller than this room. Whereas most people prioritize their bedroom, I prioritize the space where I'm going to spend most of my time, and that's at work or working out. So that's what you've seen today, at least the home gym portion of it. Maybe one day I'll give y'all want an in-depth review of the shelves up there. I know y'all don't actually get to see them all the way or very often. They go all the way up. I think you can see most of what's up there, but I think I've shown you that a little bit, but we can look at that too if y'all want. Again, if you have any questions about any of the equipment that I have, where I used it, where I found it, what I use it for, if y'all want me to do different examples of things like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this, what are the ways that you use it? I'd be happy to show you that, because I find new ways to use things all the time. As an example with the barbell, I didn't use it at first so much as a barbell as I used it as stability for when I was doing like lunges and things, because I didn't have the core strength to hold myself up and lunge. So I would use that as my stabilizer. So they can be used for so many different things in so many different ways. Again, do you need any of this? No. If you ask me, where I think you should start, I'd start with a pair of dumbbells or a pair of bands, because those are resistance and they're normally on the more cost-effective side. You can get a 2-pound dumbbell again from Five Below. You can probably get both of them for less than $5. I think they were only $2 or $3 each. So that's where I would suggest starting. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. I am a personal trainer certified with the American Council on Exercise. And I am trying to be my own best coach. But if you need a little coach's advice, let me know, and I'll be happy to help. So that's going to do it for this evening, everybody. Let me check in with the chat, because I'm way into what I'm doing. Hello. Let's see. You have to get one of the ropeless jump ropes. I do like it, Gina. It keeps me focused. It keeps me engaged in it. It keeps me in rhythm. Those are the ones that you use. Oh, the bands. Which ones, Mom? You use the booty bands, right? For the ones that we're doing, the exercises that I've given you were with booty bands. So I'm assuming my mom meant she uses these. I don't know if it's that brand, but I'm going to assume. Do you have regular bands too? You probably do, but for those of you who don't know, I give my mom exercise routine. We've been working on her core and stability through her back. And one of the things I have her doing is like banded glute bridges, banded squat walks, things like that to help. So yes, please smash that like button before you go. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the car for you, Mary, so that I don't forget. Maybe. We'll see. Gina, you never mind a long live. I appreciate that. Marcy's listening while with your son while your daughter's at dance. Well, I appreciate you listening. Thank you for inspiring me, Cheryl and Marcy, for showing off my little home gym. Thanks, Mama. I love it. I mean, it's mine, so I may be biased, but I really appreciate it. I put a lot of thought into the things that I do buy. Everything has its purpose. Everything has its use. And even though it looks like a lot, I mean, I do really cycle through it. I would say probably the only thing that I don't use on a regular basis is that ab roller. If I were to give up one piece of equipment and say, this is one that I just really don't use, that would be it. I do other things for my abs, and I don't think that ab roller is effective for me because again, my shoulders limit what the activity is really supposed to be for. But if you wanted to know my favorite, it'd be my dumbbells because they're an easy place to start. Gina says she can feel the joy fitness has brought into your life. It's totally changed my life. It is the number one thing that I've ever done for my mental health, my physical well-being, just my overall outlook. I'm happy to be here, happy to be getting a little bit more fit every day, even on those weeks when you do have to take antibiotics and can't lift more than 15 pounds and have to take it easy, breezy, beautiful, cover girl. I will do my very best. Yes, Coach Misty, I love y'all and I want to help. And that's my favorite thing. And so I'm happy to help. They open a Five Below for you. They have so much fitness equipment at Five Below, and it's really decent for a beginner, 100%. And most of us, that's where we are. We're at the start. Thanks, Mercy. She says, great gym. Yes, the booty bands. Yeah. That's what my mom uses. They're great. Thank you. Mary said it was a good live. Lori said it's great to see my gym. Do I jump rope, Kenneth? No, I do not actually jump rope. I do have the 2 jump ropes. I have a weighted rope and a regular rope, but I found that it caused extreme pain in my knee. So I don't jump very often. I did actually jump up on this step the other day, guys, though, during the Fit Squad workout, because all of a sudden I was doing that workout with her and she's like, okay, now jump up on the step and then squat. And I was like, what? I can't jump up. I only just started jumping up on this Five Below step not too long ago. Did it. Just jumped right up on that. It took me like 6 tries and like really talking positive to myself, because if you haven't seen my latest videos, what I have realized is that I tell myself to shut up, which ultimately I'm trying to tell Pete that, but really it's just me telling me to shut up and that we can't do it and shut up, instead of just going, do it, get it, jump it. You got this. Go. I think everybody was listening and watching to me get the nerve to jump up on that step. Coach said she almost fell over because she was too busy trying to watch me finally nail it. But I did. And it was just a little over a year ago that I jumped off the ground for the first time. For those of you who want to go back, there's a video on that. I jumped off the ground and did a sit-up in the same day. That was also a pretty stellar day. And, I got that 2-minute plank last week. So, yeah, we're just winning. We're crushing it. We're doing everything that we can. Is it hard? Uh-huh. Is it worth it? Uh-huh. Yep, absolutely. Another topic I'm going to talk about soon. Next week, I'm going to talk about the spoon theory. But certain things I hear and just sort of just stops me in my tracks. And I'm like, that's really important and a good message. And they said that determination isn't the best, or discipline isn't the number one thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't, like, where are you going with that? And they said it's adaptability. And at first I was like, maybe. But the more I thought about it, I think that's really interesting. So I just kind of want to leave you with this thought is, you hear a lot about discipline and getting it done. But really, I think what a lot of us need to work on at first is the adaptability, because it's not going to go the way you want. It's not going to be what you expect. And do you adapt? Can you modify, adapt, and overcome? So there is something to discipline, but if you don't have the adaptability for when that discipline can't be done or done differently than what you expect, does it side rail you? You're going to do your workout every morning, 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 in the morning, something happens, you can't do the workout. Are you going to do it later? Because that's where the discipline comes in. But you can't have that without the adaptability. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that more. But for tonight, thanks for joining me for my little ENT update and my little home gym. So I love it. I love having y'all here. Thank you for staying with me. We'll talk about the spoon theory next week, which is really a fun topic. Well, it's not a fun topic, but again, it's just perspective and how we look at things. And I'm just trying to share the way that I look at things to help where I can. And again, if you need anything, let me know. But for now, like this video if you like it, dislike it if you didn't, subscribe if you know how, and comment down below. What was your favorite piece of my gym equipment? Right now, mine's my step because it's my newest and I've been playing with it a lot. But it could change on any given day. Until next time, I'll see you real soon. Y'all have a great weekend, everybody.